Hey everybody, Soldier Hobbs here. Yes, I know it has been a long time since I posted something on YouTube and done anything on the forums. I'll probably address that at a later time. I actually just want to get right into this video and why I've actually made it. As you can tell from the title, it's just a simple thing to help improve Hawken, in my humble opinion. As far as that one thing goes, it is just the simple addition of the in-game voice chat. I know at one point it used to work fairly well, but then somehow it got bugged, and it just, I don't know, it got removed somehow, and I know there were reasons why it was removed, it was buggy and all that, but why they chose to focus on other things more so than focus on something that is kind of essential to actually team-coordinated play or just gameplay in general is kind of boggles me. I mean, sure, yes, you have a bunch of people saying, we want hats, we want skins, I mean, you can only do so much as a developer because, hey, you gotta give the people what they want, but people kind of need to realize that, you know, you can't just keep adding these Christmas tree ornaments to a tree whose roots are starting to rot out from under it. It's just gonna fall over at some time. And I'm saying this because one of my main frustrations with Hawken, actually, I'd say the main frustration with Hawken, forget everything else, it is just the voice chat. There have been so many times where if I could have just simply said something over the microphone, just like, hey, look out, or hey, they're capping the AA, rather than having to do the clunky thing and trying to type that in. Sure, I can do like a little blip here and there, maybe some people will understand what it is, and maybe some people won't, but, you know, they're left guessing to try and, you know, guess the little acronym I typed out in like 2 seconds when I could have said the entire statement I wanted to in that same amount of time it took me to type. And then everyone would have understood. Yeah, it's just been so frustrating. Like, for example, I'm playing Siege, my team decides to go off and chase some poor little assault mech who decided to peek out his head, and they're just chasing an easy kill. Meanwhile, I'm seeing two or three brawlers sneak up to the AA point. I can't really explain that in the type quicker than it will take them to kill me, or before I need to actually move out of the way. It's just like, we got, like, the entire enemy team is sneaking up from behind us, and you guys are all chasing this one guy. It's, you know, I mean, that's partial team stupidity in some cases, but at the same time, it's just like, well, I need to at least tell them. It's just like, hey, stop doing this. This is happening. Because, you know, half the time you tell people stuff like that, they'll actually listen. Because, you know, people in general, they don't want to have to lose, and they kind of actually want to be able to win. I'm not saying everyone, because, you know, there are some people who will, you know, goof around, do whatever, but for those people who actually want to help the team and try to help out, they're kind of at a loss because they're kind of missing information that they would otherwise have. And, you know, and I know not everybody has a microphone or, you know, an equivalent tool, but, you know, for those of us who have it, it is incredibly frustrating for us to not be able to actually use it within the game. Now, I know there is a TeamSpeak, but that's not accessible to everyone. Not everyone who's going to know it. The person who just dropped into Hawken for the very first time is going to have no idea that there is a TeamSpeak up. And they're going to expect someone to be talking over the microphone, oh, hey, you guys, we got to go do this, blah, blah, blah. They're going to expecting to help them learn the game. Like, most of the time, especially like on Planet side is another good example of like massive team play. A lot of the times there's always people speaking over proxy chat. Yeah, there's trolls and stuff like that, but most of the time it's people actually trying to give decent information. They're saying, oh, the enemy's over here, or blah 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 is over here, there's a tank up on the hill, guys, you might want to watch out. And I know I do that all the time over proxy chat too, and there's always those moments where it's just like, I say something out in like the general chat, maybe most of my friendly team ignores it, but then I get 2 or 3 guys who hear it, and they head off to where I said the enemy base is, and then we were able to annihilate the enemy base and cut off an attack that would have cost us a base or 2. And there's just so many cases like that, and it's because I was able to communicate to them easily, rather than having to type out in the chat, you know, people will have to say, like, who's that for, or, you know, wonder what the hell is going on. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, it is the one thing that really frustrates me about Hawken. It's really, really hard to try and communicate. And I really think that if the developers tried to focus on, like, you know, just getting that up and running, I mean, after all, it is a very, very basic part of a video game, just being able to do voice chat and, you know, speak with your teammates. And I know, of course, there's people always going to argue, like, oh, trolls, blah, 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 we don't need that. All I have to say are 5 words for trolls. God bless the mute button! But, you know, you can't always assume that people are not going to listen. I mean, trust me, if you can get even just one person on your team to actually, you know, at least hear what you're saying and get a little bit of information out of you, it can turn a fight pretty quickly. I've had it one time before where I was able to type out in the chat fairly quickly of what the enemy was doing and what we should do, and a couple teammates decided, like, okay, yeah, sure, we can go do that. And then we were able to help turn the fight around. Perfect example right there. I believe, yeah, it was Uptown. I was able to clearly see, bright as day, what the enemy team was doing. They were holding the top section. So I told my team, like, stop going up to the top section and feeding them. Let them come down to try and fight us. Of course, there were a couple people who didn't listen. But then most of the enemy team, they started flooding down because they got bored and they just want free kills. So they started flooding down. We got into a defensive position. We were able to fight them off. Simple as that, only because I was able to get 2 or 3 people to hear a simple strategy, and they were going like, oh, good idea, and they followed it. It's just communication. It is half the battle. I know it might be, you know, seen as like G.I. Joe, cheesy, cliche, but it is very, very much true, and it is definitely something we're going to need in the game. And on the subject of communication, not just the in-game voice chat, I really think a simple compass on the heads-up display would help out a lot. Now, this isn't like my main part of the video, but this is just like another little like extra little bit that I kind of want to toss in there, is that a compass. It would really go far to helping people find their way around maps, to at least have a compass direction. And then if you're honestly coordinating on a team, you can at least tell them, it's like, oh, this guy's headed north, or he's on that part of the map. You can at least tell where you are. And it's just a general simple thing that a lot of games have. It just, I don't know, Hawken seemed to gloss over it. I'm not saying that, like, all the devs should have been, like, all foreseeing and, you know, should have anticipated everything that should have been in a video game, because, let's face it, that would be unrealistic of them. Or unrealistic expectations of them. But it would be a nice addition to add to the game. Again, something very, very simple that could help improve the gameplay quite a bit. More so than weapon balancing and more cosmetics. And I'm not really blaming the devs for, like, you know, not trying to do this. Unfortunately, they do have to respond to what a lot of people are telling them to do. It's kind of like the community keeps barking. It's like, oh, more weapon balancing and more cosmetics, blah, 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 blah. Like, kind of like really small stuff in that department where it's just like, hey, there's a couple of really big holes right here. We gotta go fix that before anything else. But no, people want their cosmetics. Yeah, this is just my opinion on this. I wouldn't say, I'm not gonna ever go so far to say it's what I say is the gospel truth, and oh, you must obey or else you will die. No. This is just my opinion on the matter. I'm just posting it to the forums like any other user would. And just see if the devs will, you know, at least hear an opinion. And I do actually appreciate them. I saw recently that they put out a survey on the actual game itself. If you guys haven't already done it, go answer that. And then, you know, because they are doing the survey themselves, it is showing that they are willing to participate and improve the game, which is very, very good. I'm very glad for these devs and that they're actually, you know, doing their best to try and make things better. I think that is totally awesome, and I hope that, like, all game developers will have that kind of attitude. Looking at you, Eerie. Anyways, excuse me. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had planned for this video. Hopefully I'll be able to do more in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you guys might agree with me, or maybe not. Let me know why in the comments below, and if you have any questions, you can always feel free to ask me. But yeah, hopefully this won't be the last you hear of me for a long, long time. Unless, of course, you don't want to hear from me ever again, which is another option, but yeah. Anywho, I'll see you guys later, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video.